Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, of another not so quite furry, but definitely visual novel. This one, PMC Promiscuity. It took me a while to actually say that right. Anyways, before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it on Steam for $20. But if you want me to do this as a Let's Play, then tell me. I'll give it a point, which will put it higher on the list. And if you want me to play any other game as a quick look or whatever, tell me. And I'll add it to the quick look and give it a point to, do later at some point. So, the synopsis of this game is take on the role of a recruit and stress relief, joining the famous Monster Girl private military company Manticore International. That's the brief synopsis of it. So, we're going to reset our face and start. Doot. Voice acting? Nice. That does give me a feeling that I would want to do this more because voice acting is so easy on the throat. Who? Or at least them doing it. To change the audio settings at any time, hit escape, then select options. I mean, okay. I was like, wait, that kind of looks like they do not. Usually in visual novels, they leave the that kind of content till later. I'm gonna have to do a bit of censorship beyond the fact that I turned off the thing. But, yeah. I guess we went straight to the stress relief part, initially. A few weeks earlier? She was taking care of Morningwood, I guess. You barely set foot outside of your home when they'd taken you, mercenaries, federal agents. You weren't sure. That was hours ago now, and the bag hadn't left your head ever since they first rustled it onto you. You'd been bundled into an aircraft only a few minutes later, and from how bitterly the winds stung your extremities and stabbed at your lungs with each shaky breath, you knew you must be somewhere long way from home. Your captors guide you forward, marching you blindly onwards to whatever black sight or shallow grave awaited you on this ice sheet. You stumble as your boot unexpectedly meets the stonework floor. A sudden wall of warm air disorients you more than you already were, as you seemingly now find yourself inside somewhere. The men let go of your arms, and you brace your body and mind for whatever fate was about to befall you.
Right on time. Wait for me beside the LZ. I'll be out in a few minutes once I've finished up with him. You may remove the bag from his head.
You grit your teeth, mind racing, decide whether to fight, flee, or stand and face whatever you're here for. The hood is tucked from your face. Where on earth? You catch the sight of something swaying gently to your side, squinting and blinking hard as your eyes adjust the brightness.
Sorry about the whole abducting you and forcing you onto an 8-hour flight in complete darkness thing. I'm sure you can appreciate the level of secrecy an organization like ours requires to function safely.
I need to turn up the audio for their voices. Can we do that? Oh, I guess we hit the escape button.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, there we go. Let's try that. Or, keep it at that. Bounce, 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 like she would in a while. This was the weirdest dream he had in a while. 8 hours? That didn't seem long for a dream that stretched on for. A dream to stretch on for, and the stiffness in your legs and back aches far too realistically for a dream to emulate. Wait a minute, you recognize this Kitsune? She's the leader of that private military firm, right? So wait, did we apply this, or do people just randomly go to the PMC? She looks you up and down with concern, stepping forward and sheepishly dusting the snow from your shoulders.
Well, first things first, congratulations! We were so pleased to hear you'd accepted this job. My sister especially was particularly overjoyed.
So that's how you get accepted for the job. Accepted what job? What the fuck was she talking about? You take a second to rub your eyes and shake loose some ice from your trousers, as remember a letter you received just the day before. It'd been alarmingly brief, almost seemed like some low-effort scam. A job offer was being generous, as really only said that the anonymous Manticore International employee had been impressed with your performance and requested an interview. God, it kind of reminds me of the time when, I was offered a job, and I guess I would have to fly somewhere, but it was like, this seems sus, and it apparently was sus. And it had offered so much money. But you haven't even posted your response yet. In fact, you're on your way to deliver it when they taken you for an impromptu aeronautical joyride. I mean, maybe they're watching? I don't know. They could have at least taken your coat too, if they planned on taking you to what certainly looked like a completely different country.
Oh, well, I wouldn't worry about that. We've already got your measurements and stocked your bunk room with clothes. Besides, it'd be a little expensive to have stuff from your apartment shipped here now.
Expensive? Why would it be expensive?
Well, our precise location is classified, but I can tell you that right now the closest post office is a few 100 miles away in a neighboring Antarctic research base,
So, Antarctica. It's now you notice the aurora drifting amongst the distant clouds past the large scenic window behind her. You realize they're taking you a lot farther than just the next country over.
No need to fret, though. I can assure you we have all the facilities necessary here to make your temporary stay here feel like a home away from home. We've got a state-of-the-art gym, hydroponics facilities, geothermal heating, roomy bunk rooms, shutters to make it a little easier to sleep during the months-long daylight, and, we even have a semi-outdoor gun range!
Gym, you say?
I'd love to give you a proper tour, but I need to go have a quick chat with the lovely gentleman who escorted you here.
Right. So she expects you to stay here, despite being unable to even declassify where here was. What were they even expecting of you?
Oh, right, of course. Sorry, I expect my sister was rather light on details in her letter to you.
Yeah. Even just using the plural of details felt too generous to describe the job offer.
You're here as a morale officer. Well, technically not an actual officer, but morale recruit sounds silly, and we couldn't think of a better name for the position, so morale officer it is.
Well, you could demote me even more by calling me, and sorry if this hurts some people, a morale technician. When looking for jobs, it's like, these are the jobs I'm looking for, and it's like, technician's like, oh, this is what technician means. Also, the blush on her face is like, that's what they mean by morale. Morale officer? Like an entertainer?
Tell you what, let me take you to go meet Kyva really quick. She's our stand-in receptionist. She'll be able to conduct a proper employee introduction for you, while I brief your escorts on a few things they can do for me while they're in the area.
She turns to walk away, and you follow her. I mean, what else were you to do? Just say a polite no thanks, then stroll out into the blizzard behind you? That didn't exactly make this whole situation any more comfortable, or any less fucked up though. She leads you over to an officious-looking reception desk. Oh, I've never seen that word. Warmth return to your bones with each step further into the atrium you take.
Kyva, meet the newest member of our Manticore International family.
Out from behind the desk, a disgruntled-looking lizard? Snake? Reptile woman stands up to reveal herself. Judging by the drool from the corner of her mouth, she may very well have been taking a nap on the floor back there. She needs it warm. Despite this, her tone is immediately enthusiastic and surprisingly peppy.
Hiya! It's great to finally meet you.
Just wanted to take a look at the thing over there. Might just increase it just a smidge. I'm guessing the bounciness isn't, hey, they're really excited, but just, this is them talking. She turns her whole body to face the Kitsune.
Io, who the fuck is this dude again?
Immediately, Io turns beet red, pained embarrassment in her eyes, as she avoids eye contact with you.
This is who Shizu selected to join us for our stay here.
Oh, he's the fuck?
The new morale officer, that's exactly right. Why don't you introduce yourself properly,
This awkward display of social fumbling was hard to watch.
I'm head of the Research and Chemical Development Division here at Manticore International.
It is kind of funny how, like, in some of these games, it's like, here's how they go into the whole why is there a whole bunch of sex thing like Gamer Coliseum. It's like, well, their clothes fall off because never you mind reasons. And they have sex in the Coliseum because it's a good alternative punishment to, death. Or Sugar Lane's thing where it's like, well, you need to expend yourself because demons, and women want to have sex with you because aura attraction. And this one's like, yeah, you're here to have sex with ladies because, well, we haven't gone too far into the game yet. Because reasons? Io scowls at her, tails flickering back and forth in overtly telegraphed annoyance.
Who is currently on a mandated sabbatical from the role, owing to certain safety oversights. Right, Kyva?
Mandatory sabbatical? What? Kyva rolls her
I
eyes.
still maintain that alcohol is quite a commonplace component in most modern laboratories.
Io grimaces, pleading with her eyes at Kyva to please behave herself in front of the newcomer.
I'm sure that's probably true, but you certainly shouldn't have been drinking it.
I mean, it says alcohol, so you should drink it, right? It's not like there's other types of alcohol.
Why would I have brought alcohol into the lab if I didn't intend to drink it?
In any case, the resultant alcohol-aided chemical mishap hospitalized our receptionist at our old HQ. So Kyva here is filling in the position here, until we can get our pharmaceutical manufacturing license reinstated.
Yes, well, whilst this punishment might have rendered me the world's most overqualified receptionist, I accept the consequences of this particular violation of workplace safety.
Io looks ready to move on when Kyva's response stops her in her tracks. Her embarrassment turned to suspicion.
Why did you specify this particular violation of workplace safety?
No reason.
Well, we're certainly going to have a chat about that when I'm not in such a rush.
She directs her attention back to you.
But yes, she handles any incoming and outgoing deliveries, communications, that sort of thing.
I also develop chemical weaponry for usage in situations where the risk to our operatives is too high to justify having guns on the ground. My latest project has this fun paralytic capability that...
Ooh.
Kyva.
The receptionist looks perplexed for a moment, before the smile returns to her lips.
Oh, I mean, I used to.
In any case, I need to go talk to our operatives out on the LC before they freeze. Would you mind giving him a quick tour while I'm out? I'll only be a few minutes.
Kyva gestures wildly at the room around you.
A tour? It's an outpost, not a theme park. What is there to fucking show him?
The gym. You watch as a barely restrained outburst physically shudders its way through the irritated Kitsune.
Just introduce him to the others then, at least. Oh, and then go through the employee introduction documents with him. Thank you.
Also, it's kind of nice listening to like professional voice actors do this, so I can be like, that's how you say things. With that, she leaves, doing breathing exercises as she brushes past you and out of the snowy landscape beyond. Yeah, sometimes these breathing exercises like, dude. Kyva smells awkwardly at you before rummaging frantically inside the drawers of her desk.
Employee introduction. You don't happen to have that paperwork on you, do you?
Nope. You shake your head slowly. Did she not know you were brought here against your will?
Shit. Okay, well, why don't you go see the others on your own while I hunt down these documents real quick?
Sure.
Dope! Adelaide's our CQC expert. She's probably in the firing range, and Shizu's in her office, probably. She's the boss. Well, joint boss. Io is also the boss, but Shizu is too, I think?
Is that how you spell that, pronounce that word? Adelaide? I thought it was Adelaide. Huh.
Anyways, yeah, it's all clearly signposted, so off you go. Shoo! Bye-bye. Come back when you've met them both.
Charming. Yes, you're going to go exploring a private military secret outpost by yourself then. Well, we got the Amoi. Oh god, it does that thing that sometimes happens in games where like you move the mouse and all of a sudden you lose frames. Armory, shooting range, foyer, office, hydroponics, and dormitory. Well, I guess we can't go there. Guess we go to the shooting range.
Remember, sensitive information regarding Manticore vehicles is not to be posted in any milsim forums. Again, please stop!
Before you're even aware of anyone else's presence in the firing range, a blade flies past your face and embeds itself into the wall.
Am I to assume you are the new hire? And not some lucky hiker who happened to stumble across our outpost when lost wandering the ice sheet?
Does that happen often enough? You look to the visibly annoyed elf and back to the knife sticking from the wall. It's ice, and already beginning to drip in its surprisingly warm room. As you look back to who you presume to be Adelaide, you're surprised to find her looking up and down with disdain. Man, she doesn't like me. You tell her that you're the new morale officer that Shizu sent for. Well, abducted. A bit of both.
It's clear to me that Shizu, as is her nature, neglected several hiring practices when deciding to pick you out for your role here. Physical fitness being the most apparent of these neglected criteria, it would seem.
So, are we supposed to be like... I mean, me, I'm a pretty fit person myself, especially for my age. Like, I don't want to put it... It's weird seeing people my age and be like, oh, you guys are, like, really going downhill. But anyways, enough about that. But it's like, okay, what is the main character supposed to be? Because I was kind of thinking, I don't know, he was part military or something like that, so it would have to be somewhat fit. Unless he's like ex-military and he keeps on eating like a military person, but doesn't go exercise so they get fat. I don't know, we'll have to see. Ouch. What the fuck did I do to deserve that? Or you do?
Our commander has nonetheless insisted that I train you. I foolishly agreed to her suggestion.
Really? That was the first you'd hear of that.
Had I known the lump of clay before me now was who I would be tasked with molding into a capable operative, I would have reconsidered my decision.
Yes, because looking at you, I see that there's a lot of clay. We need to trim down that clay.
All the same, as you are now here, whether I believe it to be a sensible decision or not, I shall introduce myself.
Wait, wasn't she going to ask your name or...
I am Manticore International's most senior field operative, I am also an unrivaled expert at close-quarters combat, of whom the average soldier would only ever dream of training beneath in their most fanciful of fantasies.
Oh, well?
Assuming you are not promptly replaced, I hope you will participate in our training sessions with enthusiasm, commitment, and as much dignity as someone like yourself can muster.
I don't have a lot of dignity. But you weren't even sure if you won the job. You'd just been dropped off and expect to be cool with...
Training starts tomorrow. You are excused.
Great. Guess you'll just go fuck off then. What had got her pissed off? Can I go to the foyer? No. Oh, there's a little light right here. Okay. Guess go to the office.
Remember, please tidy up after yourselves.
No. You gingerly knock on the office door. Find it to slowly swing ajar. Also, I always love those things where it's like wall plant thingies. I don't know why. And you get one for my room. You peek inside, though don't immediately see anyone. You're about to make your presence known and enter, as something small and indecent rolls out from behind the door. Iridescent. I can read. What? Is that a fucking grenade?
Wake up, Dick Nips!
What? Your head pounds as your body feels heavy and unresponsive. Find yourself now sitting down inside the office. What the hell happened? Your head swims, and after images of white-tailed woman dance across your blurred vision.
Hey! Are you listening to me? Or do I need to slap the shit out of you again?
It do be like that. Ooh, yes, mommy. You try to speak up, but find your lips clumsy and uncooperative, much like the rest of your body. Has she drugged you?
Listen up, fucker! I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing in my goddamn building! But if I find out that you're the one who's been bugging all my equipment, I will disassemble you the same way I've had to take apart all my gear.
You guys really don't seem to communicate well, do you?
Slowly, piece by piece, with a very small screwdriver.
What the fuck is she talking about? Still concerned for your lethargic physical state and imminent bodily safety, you try your hardest to force your mouth to form words. You manage to ask if she drugged you, though through your pronunciation has all the eloquence and clarity of a drunkard after a dozen drinks. Oh, so me 2 days ago.
Did I? No, I didn't fucking drug you, you stupid twat! Is that seriously all you have to say right now?
This accent sounds familiar.
What? You never had a stun grenade used on you before? What kind of a limp dick, inexperienced, shit-for-brains infiltrator are you?
It's still hard to focus your eyes, but even so, you catch a smug expression of her face as she continues.
Then again, I guess we do use that hardcore custom shit here. Unlike the underwhelming mass-produced flashbangs other security firms use. Our stun grenades combine a 9 megacandela flash with a fast-acting anesthetic aerosol that takes effect in seconds once inhaled.
She pauses. One of her ears twitch irritably.
Okay, so I technically did drug you, but it's just an anesthetic. Don't be a fucking pussy.
There comes a ring from the unseen earpiece, which she quickly stops by pressing a button on side.
So, for the final father-fucking time. Who the fuck are you, and why are you way the hell out in the middle of this frozen wasteland trespassing on my property?
You try to explain that you're the new hire before she cuts you off.
Who the fuck here would hire your pathetic ass? What, did one of our urinals need an assistant? I mean, you're obviously an expert in that department after all, since all you've done so far is take the piss.
Not a bad, insult. She adjusts her grip on a rifle, an ominous click of what she presumed to be the safety being turned off.
So, are you going to tell me which no-sense airheaded cunt supposedly hired you then? Or shall we just skip the bullshit? Just tell me who hired you to break into this outpost and what you were hoping to do before I caught you. And maybe I'll show a little mercy by letting you pick out what color body bag you'll be leaving my building in.
She leans in close to you, making no attempt to hide the joy as she takes in the
I
situation.
got you pegged as a piss yellow body bag enjoyer. Am I right?
I like to be pegged. What? Her earpiece rings again, and with an irritated grunt, she reluctantly answers it, turning away from you to face the window.
Yeah?
Hey, Shizu. Just checking in to remind you that we have that new hire joining us today. He arrived a few minutes ago. So, please don't kill him.
Like the last one.
Sis, tell me you haven't already killed him.
She turns back to you, raising an eyebrow, as she looks you up and down. There's an uncomfortable pause, leading to you to suspect she was still considering it.
No. He is here with me now.
Here with me now, isn't still alive and unharmed?
Still alive, at least.
Yes, fucking alive. What do you think here with me now means, sis?
Oh, wonderful. Thanks again for picking him out. I know you weren't exactly thrilled about the idea of hiring someone for his position, but I must admit you certainly picked out a cute one.
Well, at least we're cute. Maybe unfit, but cute. She touches the button on her headpiece, hanging up the call, and turning back to you with a scowl.
Guess I didn't recognize you, not covered in dust and rubble.
Explain? Your wrists ache from the tightness of the ropes, realizing that feeling and functionality was finally returning to your limbs as the anesthetic begins to wear off.
Well, welcome to the company or whatever. Word of advice, don't piss me off or get in my way.
Can we piss?
Bye.
You call out as she heads towards the door, her silky white tail swishing from side to side behind her. How many she got? 3-ish? Yeah, she's not gonna come back. Guess I'll untie myself then.
Yeah, I guess you will. Sarcastic little pissant.
With that, she leaves the office with a smirk. You sit for a minute, assuming she's joking from at first, but quickly realize she isn't. It takes a lot of discomfort and straining, but you do eventually free yourself. What the fuck was her problem? Now to the foyer. Or foyer?
Remember, yes, 22s still count as live ammo, so yes, they are still restricted to use inside the range.
As you enter the intimidatingly expansive foyer once more, you find Kyva already sat behind the double wide desk, beckoning you with her finger. There's a stack of papers in her hands, which she shuffles and skims through with a grin, before placing them flat on the desk and addressing you properly.
From what I'm reading here, you've clearly made a good impression on Shizu, or she had never had headhunted you for this position.
Yay? You smile, though you aren't exactly sure what she's referring to.
Wow, it says here that you emptied 2 magazines with surprising accuracy before receiving an injury and losing consciousness. And Shizu found you some distance away from the site of the main gunfight, having been thrown through some drywall.
I mean, I'm white, so we're good at destroying drywall. Ah, your last job was a convoy guard, which had ended with some fucked up looking creature sent you cartwheeling through a crumbling ruin. But you were just working with some piss poor trading group. Why was Shizu there?
Ouch, doesn't sound fun. You're lucky that Shizu was on the response team that day. Her temperament seems to transfer directly into her fighting ability. That is to say, she's highly effective.
You nod along, though in truth, this was your first time you heard of Manticore International's involvement in your rescue. Unsurprisingly, though, given you'd been unconscious for its entirety.
Personally, I think it's unbelievably irresponsible for lackluster security firms such as your previous employer to send individuals out into the lost, especially with so little training and such unreliable equipment.
Yeah, I hate unreliable equipment.
If it were up to me, we'd just flood all the lost zones with neurotoxin, wait a few years for the chemicals to degrade, then rebuild from the ground up.
So, lore time? Its odd handler referred to the area through which you'd guarded convoys as the Lost. You'd almost forgotten that was the official term for them. You knew them as dead zones, particularly because the litany of bones and wreckage that littered the dust-covered streets, and partially because of the absurd fatality rate of all who dared to work there. There was a dozen such areas across the globe. Some were wide swaths of scarred and twisted wilderness, whilst others, like the one you worked in, had been bustling cities and industrial towns. The official story was that these areas were the result of a catastrophic cosmic incident, a once-in-a-lifetime convergence of neighboring realities. Whatever the cause, the results were the same, a dangerous labyrinth of crumbling cityscape, rife with resources lying unclaimed and undiscovered for nearly 100 years now. You notice the memory of what attacked you return to your forefront of your mind, a hulking visage of twisted flesh and musculature. Kyva seemed to spot your discomfort. She leaps back through her report, reiterating that you successfully killed 2 of them in the exchange.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. I mean, you'd have been eviscerated if our team didn't arrive when they did, but still. Though you know, even amongst our comparatively elite operatives, killing 2 Manasites is quite the achievement. It's no wonder Shizu wants you on the team.
So I'm kind of wondering, is the Manticore team and the Manasites somewhat connected? You repeat the word back to her. Manasites? That's what attacked you? It didn't seem at all surprised by your apparent lack of understanding, immediately setting out to fill you in.
They aren't public knowledge depending on which jurisdiction you're in, of course. And after seeing them for yourself, I don't imagine I need to explain why. They were one of the many species transported to this reality during the cataclysm. Unfortunately for us, despite how anomalous their biology is, they were also one of the few species to thrive here. They're exceedingly rare, at least in the kind of areas that your rinky-dink ex-employer works in, with the exception of when migrations occur, of course.
You shake your head in disbelief. It would have sounded like the ramblings of an insane woman, had you not been there to see them for yourself. You watch as she shuffles through her stack of papers once more, producing what looks like a field report.
Luckily, Shizu made short work of the 3rd. I doubt you'd be here if she hadn't. That particular subspecies of Manasite has a nasty habit of what the medical staff call excessive mutilation. In any case, I should tell you what your duties here will be. So, while you're a new operative, you'll have a lot of training on your plate. Stuff like learning rules of engagement and the firing range, probably some equipment maintenance in the armory. Oh, maybe Aya will even put you to work tending to George!
Okay, who's George? B, why are we going out into the field to fight, since we're here as supposedly a fuck buddy?
Maybe you can even lend me a hand from time to time, too. This reception gig sucks.
Also, why do we need reception if we're, a highly secretive PMC out in the middle of, nowhere? Just saying, Big Boss, didn't need a receptionist for the Diamond Dogs.
I can't wait till I'm allowed back inside a lab again. Well, anyways,
I miss MGS5.
First. These are for you to fill out. Medical information, prior employment history, emergency contacts, blah blah blah, all the standard corporate documentation that's so bland it makes you want to pull your hair out.
Oh, you think that's bad? Try going to a company that does, raises with regards to, not modules, but, things where they have to do quizzes on you, but they don't teach you anything. You said about filling the papers in, with a serpent-like woman taking the opportunity to hastily scrawl in an oversized notebook as you do so. You steal a few glances here and there, spotting chemical diagrams occupying every possible space on each page. After signing the last document and handing it over to her, there's an unpleasant pause in the lingering silence. She was leaning forward in a chair, seemingly to look you up and down, with an analytical eye.
Well, that's everything in order then. Welcome aboard, what's your face?
Hey, did you always have that red of eyes? Okay, yeah.
Well, that's As of now, you're officially a member of the Manticore International family. Congrats!
Yay.
Well, almost.
I'm just gonna put this thing over here just in case.
There's a fun little bit of hazing we do with the new recruits before they're officially part of the team.
Ooh.
I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Just as much as I will.
Okay, she's just right there, but... Oh. Looks like he's taking off his pants, though. Well, we'll just keep an eye there. Also click here, so I can... switch just in case. You stand up suddenly in surprise. The lizard-like woman practically lunging across the table desk at you. You move to take a step backwards, stumbling into a chair. The seductively positioned serpent-like woman reaching out and gripping you by the waistband to steady you.
Careful now. If you injure yourself, I have to fill out paperwork, so it's no fun for either of us.
You struggle to get the words out, watching with wide eyes as your fingers move from your waistband down to your trouser buckle. Your attention turns to the large wall of windows to your side that look out over the landscape beyond. She's some distance away, but you can just about spot Io stood beside a large hybrid aircraft. It's where he's like, I'm going to be looking outside. There's an uncomfortable spike of adrenaline as you consider maybe she could see you too, as it was impossible to tell which direction she was facing at this distance. You stumble over your words to no avail as she deftly pulls you rapidly, parting Awu free from your trousers. Good thing I switched. She apparently sensed your apprehension about possibly you being spotted, and uses her tail to press an unseen button on the side of the reception desk. The large metal shutters begin to roll down across the glass walls of the building.
Now, you might be a rookie, but it's just common sense to not go around with a loaded weapon like this in the workplace.
That's also a good one. I haven't heard that before.
Luckily for you, I've got somewhere you can safely unload.
Woo? You circled toward her gaze, the eager smirk on her lips causing you to blush. As she opens her mouth, using one hand, you can't help but wonder if maybe indulging yourself is worth losing your job over. She pauses, the tip of something inches away.
Don't look so nervous. Despite the fangs, I really don't bite all that often.
Oh.
Besides, I've definitely gotten a lot more practice with this now that I'm working the front desk.
Ooh. Letting you linger on the implication of her words, she brings you a bit closer. Doop. Was able to mute on time, at least. You feel something happening. Noises. You inhale sharply from the sudden, sensation. Okay, those are not sounds of the beginning of doing what she's doing. Just must have gone pretty far into it, if you know what I mean. Now the mercenaries who had escorted you here might not be able to see, but what about the other two? What was stopping that grumpy elf and that psycho fox woman from walking in here? Not to mention what happens if Io finished her chat and heads back only to find the building shuttered off? Okay, come on, man. She's practically halfway off the desk. Even though she's like some kind of lizard person, I feel like you need to give her some, I don't know. Attention is once more captured by her dexterous something. Yep. This wasn't like any hazing you've ever heard of, and as stressful as the thought of getting caught was, you didn't find yourself complaining. If this wasn't some kind of welcome rookies got elsewhere, you couldn't help but wish you'd switch the employer sooner. You'd switch employers sooner? You can see through her... wait, how would he be able to see that? Mm-hmm. Yep. Poor Wooey. Last thing you want is to get caught. For someone to walk in, but the more something happens, the less you cared. And, admittedly, a small part of your mind isn't not entirely consumed by Uwuwu, wanted it to be over as soon as possible to mitigate the risk of being caught. But you also didn't want to finish, quickly. Some rational notion of not wanting to disappoint the strange lizard-like woman and her thing. Also, I might just take a picture of this thing right here so I can be like, oh yeah, definitely double check to make sure that there isn't anything just out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. She definitely isn't putting in the effort. Getting close. And boom goes the dynamite. I'll put the audio back on, because might be alright. Her tail reaches back, pressing the same button before and rolling the shutters on the exterior of the building, moving back into their upright position. Oh, I was about to switch back, but no, there's still sausages.
A preference for their partner to swallow. Very interesting.
I mean, isn't that the norm? You quickly realize she isn't talking to you as much as she is simply muttering to herself. Quickly writing down on her findings on a clipboard she produced from the nearby box.
I told you the hazing wasn't that bad. You certainly seemed to enjoy it. I hadn't anticipated that weapon of yours would be loaded with quite so much ammunition, I must say.
It do be like that?
Lucky I was here to facilitate a safe unloading.
Now, for YouTube's sake, we're talking about guns. You watch as she pulls out a hitherto unseen stopwatch from her pocket before jotting down the time on the notes. Had she been timing you? Had this been a test after all? Boop. Well, let's see. Yeah, we get time. Moving to spell some of the post-Uwu awkwardness as it takes a moment to clean herself. You inquire about her odd note-taking.
Oh, this? Please. What kind of scientist performs experiments without recording the data they discover?
A bad one?
Think nothing of it. It's purely for my own interests.
Sure. What? That didn't exactly put you at ease. But hey, who are you to complain after receiving unexpected and undeniably good Uwu? After scribbling down some notes, you find her holding out a sack of paperwork for you to take. Stack.
You'll want to head to your dorm and read through all this.
Oh.
It's standard company orientation crap. Terms of employment, health and safety, all that boring stuff I get to file away for safekeeping.
You nod and take the papers, still feeling unexpectedly awkward and not knowing what to say after such an unexpected event.
Welcome to the team. I'm very excited to work alongside you going forward, so don't be a stranger.
Uwu. She leaves through her notes for a moment, a grin on her lips.
Very excited to work alongside you indeed.
There's also something else on her lips. You barely have time to buckle your trousers before her Ilo walks back into the foyer.
Hey, you two. How are you getting on?
Like a house on fire?
I've given him all the paperwork you told me to. And he's met the other two already.
Oh, that's lovely. I bet Adelaide and my sister just adore you already. It can get lonely out here, so I'm sure that cute face of yours was a welcome sight.
They see my face all the time, though.
I could not have been more clearly talking to... It's fine. In any case, Kyva, would you mind checking the armory for the manifest for our last outgoing shipment? The pilot outside is certain he's got core samples to pick up, but I could have sworn we already sent them.
Fine.
Sorry, I know this probably wasn't the smoothest introduction to your new job here, and I know some of us are a little...
Ant up?
antisocial.
Yeah.
But that's why your job as our new morale officer is so important. It's so dreary outside, and there's a ton of stress on all of us while we prepare for the big move. So it takes its toll on all of us and makes it hard to stay positive.
What's the big move? Try not to act like you'd just gotten your balls drained by her antisocial receptionist. You ask her what she means by the big move. The receptionist doesn't seem antisocial.
Oh, yes. We're currently constructing a new headquarters. That's why us high-ranking operatives are hunkered down out the way in this little highly classified outpost. It's the safest place for us to lay low during the transitional period moving between bases, where security is at its most vulnerable.
Right. That makes some sense. But you didn't really understand how you being a morale officer helped with any of that.
Well, keeping us company, of course. But more specifically, each of the operatives here could use a little hand keeping themselves sane.
I know that feeling.
Take Kyva, for example. I know her pharmaceutical license being suspended is bothering her more than she's letting on. So it'd be nice if you could help take her mind off of it however you can. Both for her sake, and for the sake of our legal team. Adelaide's easy. She's such a good girl. She just doesn't do too well with being idle for too long.
I know that feeling.
Which is great news for you, because it means you'll be receiving combat lessons from the best there is. Well, the best in close quarters combat, at least. And of course, my sister is a little shy, but I think having another friendly face to chat to would do immeasurable good for her mood. I'm sure she'll warm up to you in no time. You've just got to be persistent.
And what about her? Was there anything you could do to help her out?
Me? Oh, honey, I am perfectly fine. Don't go worrying about me. You can drop by whenever you like when you need anything, okay? Besides, I'm ludicrously busy at the moment, so even if I did need something, I'd...
Io, what would hypothetically happen if someone accidentally lost the core samples and then forged a manifest saying we had already posted it?
So... very busy. Most of the time you'll find me in the Hydroponics bay if you need me. It's my temporary office, sort of, since Shizu's usually in the actual office and has a habit of playing loud games, which makes it hard to concentrate.
What a hydroponics would be like? I'd like to see what they would look like. And that's like where food or water is. Maybe both. Also, so there's like a mold problem or something?
Goodness, where are my manners? You must be exhausted from your flight. Here, let me walk you to your bunk room. You can write the rest of the day off, rest up, and start your duties properly in the morning.
Truth be told, you were exhausted. Both from the sudden, surprising sexual encounter, and from rolling around in the back of an aircraft for 8 hours. Maybe you'd stick around for a while at least, if there was more hazing in store for you as a morale officer. Ooh.
Remember, keep interpersonnel fucking to a minimum. Please, condoms are so expensive right now.
Are they? You just pull out, ooh. Well, so isn't that our job? Okay, maybe it isn't our job, but still. Okay, so you got these heart thingies. Is this like a day-night cycle thing? So... Right. Oh, right. It's escape. Let's see what hydroponics looks like. Let's talk to her first.
Remember, ambiguous green gas is usually not good to breathe.
Entering the large atrium for the first time, the first thing you notice is how close the air felt in here. Close? Close? What does that mean? The moment you passed through the threshold of the doors, there was a heavy, earthen scent that was hard to place, and a curious, unsettling weight to every breath you took. Every breath I take, I'll be watching you. It didn't take you long to adjust to the odd hazy atmosphere, even if your nose still couldn't quite decide if it was maple or pine you could smell. Were you supposed to be the source of this odd fragrance perforating? The chamber was a large central tree, which swayed and danced with reflecting light, despite the complete lack of breeze. Scattered all around the edges of the atrium were smaller grow beds of similar-looking crops and some odd, bulbous flowers and knotted stems. Of which you guessed to be medical in some capacity, if not purely aesthetic. I mean, those words sound very woo. Placed off to one side, looking oddly tiny compared to the towering, ethereal cherry blossom tree, was a desk buried with stacks upon stacks of folders and documentation. You spot a familiar white ears poking from behind the mass of paper, twitching in your direction as she evidently heard you enter. She quickly springs to her feet, beckoning you with a warm smile. Smee?
It's good to see you again, Rookie. Sorry I was so busy yesterday. Seems I can't catch a break from logistical issues nowadays.
Logistics.
I miss the days when I just had to aim and shoot. Maybe give the other operatives a pep talk to help morale, not untangle all these dreadfully dull business dilemmas.
She sighs.
What I wouldn't give to just be a guard again. I imagine that must sound rather silly to you.
Nah, it did sound silly. Though maybe getting up at the crack of dawn, polishing your boots and maintaining your equipment, and staring off into space for hours on end was less of a frustrating ordeal with the disposition as sunny as hers. Or perhaps she just misses not having quite so much desk work to do.
Anyway, how did you enjoy your evening last night? Did you find your room to be satisfactory?
Anything felt comfortable after sliding around the back of the aircraft for hours. Though the beds were a lot more comfortable than your own at home. You can imagine the constant daylight getting annoying though. She nods politely as she shifts some folders around, flicking through them with her tongue sticking from the corner of her mouth, evidently not giving her complete attention. I know that feeling. Sometimes just stick out my tongue. As if suddenly remembering you were there, she dramatically drops a folder and leans over the desk to address you. I'm gonna turn on my light in my room.
Goodness, where are my manners? You're probably here looking for something to do, right?
You, if you know what I mean. Well, I just said you. Yeah. You nod enthusiastically, explaining that you don't want to take this new position you're granted by lazy boot. But really, this whole situation still felt unreal, and you'd hope some task or another might help you ground yourself and help these strange sort of events set in.
Right. Yes, of course. That's really thoughtful of you. Luckily for you, I've got something you could help me out with, if you'd like. So, this outpost is close to the southernmost lost zone, which means despite the remoteness, it was a frequently used resupply point for a fair few of our mercenaries undertaking work out here. Naturally, for the sake of secrecy, we've suspended all such expeditions while we're here inhabiting the station. If I'm honest, though, there was quite a lot of work getting the previous staff packed and resettled and not very much time at all to do it. So there might be, some equipment got left behind. It's totally my bad. Not their fault at all, so please don't be mad with the previous crew. I didn't give them enough notice to take care of it themselves before they left.
What was she talking about exactly? She gets up from her desk, waiting for you to follow, as you're on the central tree. Hidden from view as you entered, behind the large tree, was an ungodly sized pile of MRE packages. You couldn't quite believe how many of them there were. Was this an outpost or a fallout shelter?
Well, you see, they're unsorted, which is kind of a problem. It's of grave importance our operatives out in areas of the Lost maintain a strict and monitored diet, specific meals at specific times of the day, every day. Given how dilapidated and hazardous many ruins are from just mundane hazards like toxic construction compounds and mold. And then consider the potential of disease, otherworldly plant life and bacteria, and limited medical supply availability, meaning even the smallest wound risks infection. Suffice to say, the sooner any symptoms of such are spotted, the sooner we can evac and treat our mercenaries. Therefore, a strictly regulated diet simply helps to mitigate complications that these more serious afflictions could be mistaken for, such as food allergies or foodborne illnesses.
Right, but how was that anything you could help with? She avoids eye contact with you, clearly feeling guilty about what her answer was about to be.
These MREs are expensive to manufacture, so we need to get them distributed out to outposts that our teams are still using for resupply.
You know, at some point I should buy an MRE just to see what it's like. I hear that they can be shit.
Which means, unfortunately, they need sorting. Again, this really is my fault, and they really do need to be made ready for relocation as soon as possible, and I do it myself, but...
As if on cue, her phone begins buzzing in her pocket, one of her ears flickering back and forth in noise.
I'm ridiculously busy, and I know it isn't your job, and I have no right to ask you to do so. But it really would be a huge help. I really need to take this call. Sorry, Rookie.
She wanted you to sort all of this alone? You stand with your hands on your hips, wondering where you'd even start with such a task. Well, at least you wouldn't be lacking things to do while you stay here. You look across over to your new boss, who is stood leaning against her desk, pinching the bridge of her nose with one hand and holding her phone with a white-knuckled grip in the other. Hell, she's been the only one here to be conventionally nice. She's been the only one to be conventionally nice to you so far. So, if it took some stress off their plate, maybe it wasn't so bad. As you exit the hydroponics chamber, a plan formed in your mind to tackle the dragon's horde-sized pile of preserved goods bit by bit. You can't help but overhear some of her phone call. I mean, it couldn't be that big since it's not a thick tree.
No, I've told you already. We will not work with that country's current leadership. No, we're not taking sides. What do you think this is, debate class? When they decide they want to start paying for contracts with actual money and not defunct pre-cataclysm digital currency, then maybe we'll reconsider our position.
We don't take Bitcoin, and definitely not NFTs.
I don't care how rare they say their cartoon monkeys are. Stop answering their phone calls.
Okay, that's another clip. But these are exceedingly rare cartoon monkeys. I was kind of wondering, like, do these things go down, but now that's empty. I just kind of wonder how that's past some time. Actually, never mind. That's still a moon down there. That's the sun. Oh, does this slowly go over this way or something like that? Well, let's see what happens if we do this. Okay, it's an actual game. Oh, it's a match game, so pancakes, pizza, crayons? What was that? Hamburger, shrimp. I should do more of these types of games. Maybe make my brain not dumb. Oh, there, I see that. The thing that was here is now over there. I wonder if it means, like, you get 3 of them in a day? But now that thing is, like, 100% hearts again. I'm wondering if this game is like, hey, you have unlimited time, or if you have, like, limited time. I don't know. But as we're at the end of this thing right here, hit the 1 hour mark just now, it's a good time to call it. So, end of this quick look, so comment, cause I like comments, 70 like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and like see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos to help grow. And please remember to spay and neuter your animals to help control the pet population, because that's something that's important to me. And if you want to play this game, it's on Steam for $20 bucks. I mean, technically $19.99 before tax, but it's also like, what is the point of that anyways? Like, I've asked that several times and looked up the answer and then completely forgot about it. So, back with music. But now, you have to see what we're going to be doing next. And I click the random number generator of Destiny. I mean, I guess we can save. I do like, some of the girls are cute, so yeah. But anyways, enough of my simping. Time to put that in the quick look folder, and then start this thing. What was this? Oh, it's A New Dawn. I think this was something that somebody said I should look at. Do-do-do. Woo. A New Dawn. A game, a boot. A New Dawn is a furry gay, very NSFW visual novel focused on you as the main character who has moved to a new city. Might need to turn down just a smidge. Okay. I was like, wait, it's in Espanol. I only have done some things on Duolingo. But anyways, moved to a new town. It was moved to a new city and is starting his first year of college. Throughout your story, Throughout your story, you will meet various characters who will conveniently develop feelings for you as you get to know them. Anyways, this game is free on itch.io. I haven't looked at their main page so much. Seem to be quite a few barras. They got Discord. There's a Patreon. Let's see. Early access is $3 a month. Have I said everything? Yeah. If you want me to play any games in particular, then tell me, and I'll give it a point. We'll just put it higher on the list. And if you have any more recommendations, then tell me, and I'll add it to the quick look thing. This. And until next time, another quick look by me, GamerWolfSix of A New Dawn. So thanks and see you.